Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into a topic that, well, it might sound a bit niche at first glance,
Right.
but honestly, it holds some really surprising insights into global health, innovation, and where science is heading.
Absolutely.
We're talking about the global chemistry analyzer market.
Okay.
Think of those sophisticated lab instruments. They're kind of the silent workhorses behind countless medical diagnoses every single day,
Hmm.
automatically measuring chemical components in, well, everything from blood to urine, giving doctors vital data on cholesterol, kidney function, you name it.
It's a foundational market, really. I mean, these
Yeah,
analyzers are essential, identifying diseases early, checking if treatments are working, driving medical research forward.
exactly.
So understanding its growth, it isn't just about the market size numbers. It tells us a lot about where global healthcare is fundamentally going.
Totally agree. And that's our mission today, really, to unpack the key trends, the future projections, and the important regional dynamics of this market. We're drawing our insights from the very latest Global Chemistry Analyzer Market Outlook 2033 report. That's from Cognitive Market Research.
Good source.
Yeah, so consider this your quick, comprehensive guide to a vital, expanding sector, one that, frankly, impacts all of us.
And what's fascinating here is just the sheer scale. The global market, I mean.
Okay, so what are we talking scale-wise?
Well, according to the report, back in 2021, it was valued at a pretty robust $16.86 billion.
Wow, okay, $16.8 billion.
Yeah, but that's just the starting point, really.
So where's it headed? That's a significant figure already.
The report projects this market will climb to over $20.4 billion by 2025.
Okay.
And then looking further out, it really hits an impressive $30 billion by 2033.
30 billion, that's quite a leap.
It is. And this isn't just like a sudden spike. It's consistent, steady expansion, indicated by a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of nearly 5%, about 4.937% to be precise.
Right, almost 5%. That kind of consistent growth suggests really deeply embedded demand, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And ongoing investment, too.
And if you connect this to the bigger picture, I mean, this sustained growth that speaks volumes. It's about increasing global investment in diagnostics, in research, in healthcare infrastructure generally.
So it's more than just selling machines.
Exactly. It's not just about more machines being sold. It's about increasingly sophisticated testing, more accessible testing, becoming available worldwide.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, we're talking about advancements like integrated systems that can run dozens of tests at once from just one tiny sample.
Incredible efficiency.
Or even compact point-of-care devices, bringing lab-quality results right into a rural clinic maybe, expanding access in ways we haven't seen before.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've got this robust global growth picture, but how does this break down geographically? Let's maybe start with North America, often seen as the industry's established powerhouse.
Good place to start. Yes, North America holds a substantial piece of the pie.
Okay.
Back in 2021, its market was valued at nearly $6 billion, $5.9 billion roughly.
Almost 6 billion.
And it's projected to grow to over $7 billion by 2025. And by 2033, yeah, it's expected to hit just shy of $10 billion.
Wow, nearly $10 billion just for North America.
Within North America, the United States is clearly the dominant force. No surprise there, maybe.
Right.
It accounted for the largest share, valued at around $4.76 billion in 2021,
Okay.
and projected to reach nearly $8 billion by 2033, so almost doubling. It's a significant engine for this market's growth.
Driven by.
Largely driven by its advanced healthcare system, I'd say, and just the high demand for diagnostic services.
Makes sense. And what about Canada and Mexico? They're also important contributors, right?
Absolutely. Canada's market, it's expected to grow from over $660 million in 2021 to over $1.2 billion by 2033.
Doubling there, too, roughly.
Pretty much. And Mexico also shows strong expansion, moving from just under $500 million back in 2021 to over $850 million by 2033.
So still significant growth across the board in North America.
Yeah, and what's interesting here is that even in mature markets like North America, we see such consistent growth.
Right. You might expect it to level off more.
Exactly. But it's likely a combination of factors, an aging population requiring more frequent diagnostic testing, the increasing prevalence of chronic diseases, that's a big one, and just continuous innovation in diagnostic technologies pushing demand for newer, more efficient analyzers.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, now let's hop across the Atlantic. Europe. How's the picture there?
Europe's market reached over $3.5 billion in 2021.
Okay, about half of North America size that.
Roughly, yeah. And it's set to grow significantly, too, projected to reach nearly $6 billion by 2033.
So, still very solid growth.
Mhm.
How does Europe's unique healthcare landscape, with all its different systems, contribute to this?
Well, Europe presents a diverse landscape, definitely, but key players like Germany and the UK are driving a lot of this growth.
Okay.
Germany, for instance, accounted for over $750 million in 2021. That's $756.9 million.
Weak share.
And it's projected to reach well over $1.3 billion by 2033. $1.36 billion. The UK also shows robust growth, moving from over $430 million, $436.9 million, to over $760 million, $768 million in that same time frame.
Okay.
And what's interesting here is, similar to North America, while these are mature markets, their aging populations and high prevalence of chronic diseases continue to fuel demand for advanced diagnostics.
So similar drivers.
Yeah.
And who else is significant in Europe? France, Italy.
Yeah, France is expected to see its market grow to over $660 million, $660.9 million by 2033. Italy is projected to reach over $640 million, $641.9 million.
Okay.
Even countries like Russia and Spain are showing noticeable increases. Spain moving towards over $503.4 million by 2033.
Right.
Russia looking at about $319 million.
Got it.
And beyond the larger economies, we see steady increases pretty much across the continent.
Really? Like where?
Countries like Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland, they're all projected to reach well over $200 million each by 2033. Sweden, around $376 million. Denmark, $246 million. Switzerland, $230 million.
Okay.
And even smaller markets like Luxembourg are showing growth, projected around $39 million.
So it's widespread.
Yeah, it indicates a pretty broad-based commitment to healthcare modernization across Europe. It just reflects that ongoing need for efficient, accessible diagnostic tools.
Okay. So North America and Europe showing consistent, steady growth.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Asia-Pacific earlier. It sounds like that region presents a particularly dynamic picture.
Oh, absolutely. Asia-Pacific shows really robust growth. It was valued at over $4.6 billion in 2021. $4.619 billion,
Right.
rising to nearly $5.8 billion by 2025 and heading an impressive $9.05 billion by 2033.
$9 billion. So
Yeah.
getting close to North America's projected size.
Exactly. And what's more, it boasts a healthy ENGR of nearly 5.8%, about 5.772%. That's higher than the overall global average we talked about.
Higher than the global average. What does that tell us?
Well, that higher CGR isn't just a number. I mean, it fundamentally highlights a significant shift, a move from maybe more basic medical facilities towards a really diagnostic-driven healthcare model across much of the region.
Yep.
China is leading the charge here, growing from over $1.6 billion, $1.626 billion in 2021 to a projected $3.24 billion by 2033.
Doubling its market size.
Essentially, yes.
Mhm.
Doubling. This means governments in these areas are actively investing, in preventative care, in earlier disease detection, moving away from purely reactive treatments.
That doubling in China is, well, it's a staggering figure. What does that signify for public health infrastructure there?
It signifies massive investment and modernization, a huge push to upgrade capabilities.
And Japan, also significant.
Yes, Japan also shows significant movement, projected to reach over $1.27 billion, $1.272 billion by 2033, from about $700 million in 2021.
Okay, but India, you mentioned India stands out with rapid growth.
It really does. From over $628 million in 2021 to an impressive $1.35 billion, $1.357 billion by 2033.
Another one more than doubling.
Absolutely. And India's growth is particularly indicative, I think, of widespread healthcare expansion in emerging economies.
How?
Well, just imagine maybe a small clinic in a developing part of India now being able to perform crucial chemistry tests that were once only available in major city hospitals.
Right, thanks to this expanding market.
Exactly. South Korea is also on a strong upward trajectory, growing to over $700 million, $704.9 million by 2033. Australia contributes significantly as well, projected around $361 million.
Okay.
And we also see robust growth in markets like Singapore, projected around $375 million. Southeast Asia collectively surging to over $500 million, $500.4 million. And Taiwan hitting over $300 million, $314.5 million by 2033.
Wow. It really underscores that broad-based expansion and modernization across the continent, doesn't it?
It really does. The rest of APAC category also nearly doubles, moving towards $918 million.
Okay. Now, Pivoting a bit,
Yeah.
South America. Do we see a similar pattern of rapid expansion there, or is it more of a gradual build-out?
South America's market recorded just over $1 billion in 2021, $1.079 billion.
Okay.
And it's projected to rise to nearly $2 billion by 2033, $1.99 billion. So almost doubling over that period, too.
Almost doubling again. Seems to be a theme. Who's leading there?
Brazil stands out as the top contributor. It's expected to reach over $700 million, $703.1 million by 2033.
Yeah.
This consistent growth across South America, it suggests an increasing focus on improving healthcare access and diagnostic capabilities. It kind of reflects broader economic and social development across the continent, you could say.
And other key players in the region, Argentina,
Yep.
Colombia.
Yep. Argentina's projected at over $420 million, $423.4 million by 2033. Colombia at over $280 million, $282.7 million. Peru nearing $150 million, $149.8 million, and Chile at over $177 million, $177.7 million.
So it's clear that the demand for these essential diagnostic tools is definitely rising across the board there, too.
Definitely.
Okay, let's move on to the Middle East. What's the picture there?
Right. The Middle East, this market stood at over $890 million, $893.6 million back in 2021.
Okay.
It's projected to grow to over $1 billion, $1.09 billion by 2025, and reach over $1.6 billion, $1.628 billion by 2033.
So not quite doubling, but still very solid growth.
Still very solid, yes.
And which countries are driving that? Saudi Arabia, UAE.
We see significant contributions there from Saudi Arabia, yes, rising to over $419 million, $419.5 million by 2033. Turkey is also strong, projected at over $340 million, $341.4 million, and the UAE is looking at over $230 million. $231.9 million.
Okay. Any others?
Other notable countries include Egypt, projected around $228 million, $227.9 million, and Qatar, around $157 million and $156.8 million, both showing strong growth. And the rest of Middle East category also makes a substantial contribution, about $250 million.
Absolutely. And the forecast reflects that. This market is forecasted for substantial growth from over $820 million, $826.1 million in 2021
Right.
to nearly $1.5 billion, $1.49 billion by 2033.
Okay, nearly $1.5 billion. How does that break down within Africa?
Well, specific country projections for 2033 show Nigeria increasing to over $240 million, $241.3 million.
And South Africa, a larger market, projected to reach over $580 million. $580.4 million. So that signifies some concentrated investment in those key economies.
Right, and the rest of the continent.
The rest of Africa category is actually projected to be quite large, too, reaching nearly $670 million, $669.6 million by 2033.
Wow.
So that really highlights the potential for widespread expansion in healthcare infrastructure and diagnostic capabilities across the continent, as economies grow and health systems strengthen.
Okay, so let's try and synthesize this. We've covered a lot of ground, a lot of numbers.
Yeah, let's pull it together. So when we put all this regional data together, what does it really mean?
Well, we've seen significant, consistent growth across North America and Europe. They're mature markets, but they're still expanding.
Right. Steady growth. Then we identified Asia Pacific as a rapid growth engine, poised to become potentially the largest market, or at least rival North America.
Yeah, that high CAGR really stood out.
And we've observed robust expansion, often near doubling, in South America, the Middle East, and Africa, indicating a truly global trend. It's not just happening in one or two places.
It's fascinating to see how these numbers, which, initially seem like just data points on a report, how they paint such a clear picture of evolving global health trends. This widespread, consistent growth in the chemistry analyzer market, it isn't just about company profits, is it?
Not at all. It's really a barometer for evolving global health priorities.
Yeah. It signals an increasing demand for precise medical insights, enabling earlier diagnoses, more targeted treatments.
And a collective global push towards scientific advancement, really.
So this raises an important question, I think, for you, our listener, to maybe ponder.
Yeah, what does all this consistent, widespread growth in chemistry analyzers truly signify? Think about the future of healthcare, scientific discovery, our global approach to understanding and managing health challenges.
Right. What are the deeper implications?
Exactly. Think about it. Preventative care, personalized medicine, even our collective preparedness for future health crises. Are we actually seeing the quiet evolution of a healthcare system that is becoming genuinely more proactive, more accessible, and more deeply informed by data than ever before.
A lot to ponder there indeed. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the global chemistry analyzer market.
Hope it was insightful.
We hope you feel a little more well-informed about the future of diagnostics and global health.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being truly well-informed. Today, we're looking at something fascinating, often working, behind the scenes in healthcare. Chemistry analyzers. You might not know the name, but trust me, their impact is huge, from checkups to critical care. Okay, let's unpack this. Our mission today is pretty clear. Figure out how these high-tech machines are shaking up diagnostics, patient monitoring, and managing disease worldwide.
Exactly. And we're going to be digging into the key forces driving this market, the roadblocks they're hitting, and some really exciting trends shaping what's next. All the insights we're discussing, they're powered by data from cognitive market research. So by the end of this chat, you should have a really clear picture of their impact on, well, global healthcare. Not just what they do, but why it matters so much.
That's right. You'll see why these often complex systems are, well, kind of revolutionary for health. So to start us off, we hear diagnostics a lot, but what's biochemical monitoring really about? And why are these analyzers so vital for it? What are we actually talking about here?
Right. Well, at their core, chemistry analyzers are sophisticated machines. They give really precise measurements, of different substances in blood, urine, other body fluids. Think of biochemical monitoring as basically tracking what's happening inside your body. On a molecular level, these analyzers, they're kind of the unsung heroes, giving doctors the critical data they need, everything from, say, keeping tabs on chronic conditions like diabetes, monitoring glucose, to checking electrolytes or liver function in an emergency. Right there, real time. They translate all that complex body chemistry into numbers doctors can actually use.
Oh, okay. Got it. The silent workhorses in the lab giving that crucial snapshot of what's happening inside. So we know what they are now. But why the big push now? What's really driving their growth at the moment? I'm curious, what are the main forces making these machines just so indispensable right now?
That's a key question. The first major force, and it's undeniable really, is the rising prevalence of chronic diseases. The cognitive market research data clearly shows this global increase. Conditions like diabetes, cardiovascular problems, liver damage, kidney failure, the list goes on.
Okay, that makes sense. Chronic diseases mean more testing, but is there something specific about these conditions that really ramps up the need for chemistry analyzers, maybe more than other tools?
That's a really good point. It's not just that more people have these conditions, it's about how they're managed now. It's shifted towards more intensive, like long-term monitoring. Think about managing diabetes or kidney issues. It needs constant biochemical data, precise data. It's not a one-off diagnosis anymore. It could be weekly, even daily checks driving treatment adjustments. That creates this huge ongoing demand that, frankly, only these automated systems can really handle at scale. So yeah, hospitals, diagnostic labs, they're investing heavily in the advanced automated systems just to keep up, keep pace with the sheer volume.
Right, the sheer volume. And the machines themselves, I bet the technology inside them has changed a lot too. And the devices themselves pushing this boom?
Oh, absolutely. It's actually fascinating how far they've come. Modern analyzers, they're faster, way smarter, and much more integrated than they used to be. We're talking high-throughput analysis, meaning they process loads of samples incredibly quickly, they offer real-time data tracking, and they link up seamlessly with laboratory information systems, the LIS, those are like the lab's nerve center,
Yeah.
and the automation. It does more than just speed things up. It cuts down on human error potential, big time, and crucially boosts accuracy overall. So that mixed speed, precision, reliability makes them essential, especially in busy hospital labs, big research places where efficiency is key and it frees up skilled staff for, more complex work.
It's amazing how tech pushes things forward. But thinking bigger picture, where are these advanced tools actually ending up? Is the global healthcare map changing, playing a role here?
Yeah, it's a huge factor, definitely, especially when you look globally. Governments, private sectors, they're investing serious money in expanding healthcare systems, especially in developing countries. And the result, well, you need to equip all these new labs and clinics with modern, reliable tools. So we're seeing these chemistry analyzers pop up in more places, even reaching into like Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, those developing urban centers outside the main hubs. Getting this tech into previously underserved areas, it's actively helping bridge some critical gaps in healthcare access, making advanced diagnostics more available.
Okay, so we've talked drivers, what's pushing this growth, but, progress usually has its challenges. What are the roadblocks? What's maybe slowing down even wider adoption?
You're right, it's not all smooth sailing. There are definitely hurdles. The first big one, identified by the research, is cost. High cost, both for the equipment itself and, importantly, the ongoing maintenance. These advanced analyzers, especially the big modular ones or high-capacity models, they carry a hefty price tag. And it's not just the upfront costs. You have installation, calibration, regular upkeep. It all adds up. So for smaller labs or maybe rural clinics on tight budgets, that financial side is a major barrier. Creates a real gap in access sometimes.
And it's not just about affording the machine, is it? You need the people, too. Is finding skilled staff a problem?
Exactly. That's the second challenge, a shortage of skilled lab technicians. I mean, these machines are sophisticated. You need trained people to operate them properly, interpret the results accurately. And in many areas, particularly rural spots or underserved regions, there just aren't enough qualified staff. It creates this kind of paradox. A facility might get the fancy new tech, but then struggles to really use it effectively because the skilled people aren't there.
And then there's the red tape, that whole complex world of regulations and quality standards.
Right. That raises a big question for manufacturers trying to innovate or sell internationally. They have to meet incredibly strict standards, get certifications like FDA approval here in the US or the CE mark in Europe. And that whole process, it's known for being really time-consuming and expensive. Plus, you've got different rules in different countries. That adds another layer of complexity. It can seriously complicate rolling out products globally, delay launches, hold back new innovations from getting to market, which ultimately slows down patient access worldwide.
So what does this all mean for you listening? Well, it means these challenges, cost, staffing, regulations, they directly impact how quickly and how widely these really important diagnostic tools can reach your local clinic or hospital.
Yeah.
It affects access and speed for everyone. But okay, despite those hurdles, the market is moving forward, things are changing. What are some of the really exciting trends that are reshaping the future here? Where should we look first?
Absolutely. Things are definitely evolving. One standout trend the research highlights is the real growth in point-of-care testing devices. POCT. These are, the smaller, more compact devices designed for quick results, right where the patient is. You see them in outpatient clinics, ERs, even mobile health units. What's really powerful is how they kind of democratize diagnostics. Think about situations like pandemics or health camps in remote areas. They deliver critical results with minimal setup, almost in real time. Makes immediate care possible where a full lab just isn't an option.
That leads perfectly into another trend, doesn't it? Making things smaller, the miniaturization of analyzers. Seems like the goal is getting these powerful tools into even more settings.
Yes, exactly. Manufacturers are really pushing this, responding to demand for, well, space-saving gear. They're developing smaller machines, more energy efficient too, but crucially, they still pack the punch of the bigger models. Same capabilities, smaller footprint, these compact, like benchtop units. They're total game changers. They make advanced diagnostics feasible for smaller labs, clinics that just couldn't afford the space or the cost for the traditional bulky equipment before. It lowers that barrier to entry.
And the final big trend, let's talk digital. What happens when these smart machines get connected? Integrating with digital health platforms, what does that actually mean for healthcare delivery?
Oh, this is where it gets really transformative, I think. Modern chemistry analyzers. They now connect pretty seamlessly with the laboratory information systems, the LIS we mentioned, and cloud platforms too. This connection allows for real-time data sharing. That's huge for supporting things like telemedicine. And it dramatically speeds up clinical decision-making, getting the right info to the right person faster. And looking even further ahead, connected this to the bigger picture, there's huge interest in integrating AI, machine learning algorithms. The idea is to automate interpreting results, maybe even flag abnormalities with greater precision, paving the way for smarter, faster diagnostics, maybe even predictive ones down the line. This is really where healthcare is heading, moving beyond just collecting data to generating real insights.
So bringing it all together then, the chemistry analyzer market, it's not just ticking along, it's right at the center of this healthcare revolution. Quietly, maybe, but powerfully changing how we manage health.
Indeed. It's being driven by these critical needs, like monitoring chronic diseases. It's being pushed forward by digital innovation. And it's expanding alongside global healthcare infrastructure. Yes, there are challenges, costs, staffing, regulations. Those are still very real. But the future, it looks incredibly promising. These trends, portable testing, AI, seamless data connection, they're actively reshaping diagnostics. And what's really fascinating, I think, is how all this promises to bring advanced diagnostics closer to everyone. making healthcare more accessible, more efficient, wherever you happen to be.
Which really leaves an important question for you listening right now. How might these rapid advances in chemistry analyzers change your own experience of healthcare in the next few years? Will getting a diagnosis become much faster, more accessible, maybe even something you could partly do from your own home one day? Definitely something to think about. We encourage you to reflect on those possibilities, stay curious, and keep exploring.